I want to bring in Republican presidential candidate Will Hurd. Will, let me start. I'm sorry, Congressman Hurd. Let me start with you by just asking the question that's in the title of that. Rudy Giuliani, what happened to America's mayor? What do you think happened to him?
He got tied up with Donald Trump, right? Like, unfortunately, it seems that a lot of people in Donald Trump's orbit that have ended up falling on hard times or ending up in prison. It's really unfortunate. As someone, I was in the CIA when 9/11 happened. You know the importance of New York City and the former mayor's role there. It's pretty disappointing, and I'll be tuning in and watching to see what happened.
Thank you. You have said that Trump's fourth indictment, the one from this week in Fulton County, Georgia, is just the latest example of how Donald Trump's baggage will hand Joe Biden re-election if Trump becomes the Republican nominee. Looking at the latest polls showing that Trump and Biden are essentially tied, though, a new Quinnipiac poll out today shows Biden at 47%, Trump at 46%. Why do you think this is going to hurt Trump? It seems to be only helping him solidify the Republican base, and I don't see any obvious impact on the head-to-head polls.
Look, we should have learned that polling, since 2016, that polling is a snapshot in time. It is not an indication of who's actually go out to vote. These were the same polls like 2 weeks ago when that the ballot issue in Ohio came to a vote last week. It was basically a vote about abortion. The week before that vote, everybody thought it was close, that it was tight, and it ended up going down by 18 points. We saw this in 2022. The weekend before the election in 2022, the same polls, the same prognosticators were saying that Kevin McCarthy was going to have potentially north of 30 people as a buffer, as a lead, and it ended up only having 5. There's no question that right now Donald Trump is in the pole position of the election. But as these issues keep coming out, people are getting sick and tired with this baggage. They want people talking about articulating a vision of the future. How many conversations have you gotten in to some of these terrible policies of Joe Biden, the $6 billion given to the Iranians, and we're not even getting the Americans back on our soil? The fact that Republicans haven't been able to talk about the problems with the Biden administration is because we're consumed by Donald Trump. We need the GOP. If we nominate Donald Trump for president, it is going to go to Joe Biden, period, full stop. And we need to elect someone who's not afraid of Donald Trump, but's articulating a vision for the future. And if your viewers believe in that, then go to hurdforamerica.com and help me get on that debate stage by giving at least $1.
So we did cover, just for the record, we did cover the $6 billion in unfrozen assets in exchange for those 5 Iranian Americans being remanded to house arrest in Iran, just for the record. But I hear you. Let's talk about a couple issues, because I want to talk about the war in Ukraine. The other day, the U.S. announced a new $200 million aid package. Polls suggest now that most Americans are opposed to more funding by the United States to support Ukraine. There are wide gaps by political party on this. You come from an intelligence background, as you noted. Do you think the U.S. is doing too much, not enough, just right? What do you think?
I don't think we're doing too much. I think we need to do stuff faster. And the reason that we're having that disconnect in polls is we're not having people articulate why Ukraine continues to matter. The broader perspective is the United States, created an international order after World War II that benefits us. If we don't defend that international order, then that hurts us. Specifically on the dollars spent, it's been about 5% of the entire DoD budget that has been spent on the war in Ukraine. And guess what? We've gotten the dismantling of the Russian military without having to send our boys and girls or spouses to the conflict. I think that's a really good deal. The problem with this administration is they're not articulating what a vision of victory is. And to me, victory means we're pushing the Russians out of all of Ukraine, to include Crimea and the Donbass. We should be making sure they have all the equipment they need in order to establish a no-fly zone and even hit and attack positions inside Russia. We need to stop trying to make the Ukrainians fight this war with the hand tied behind their back. And if we do that, this is not going to be a forever war. It's something that could wrap up sooner rather than later.
Let's turn to education policy. Today, the former Vice President Mike Pence, who's one of your competitors, said he would eliminate the Department of Education on day one of his presidency, and he would return those funds to the states with the mandate that they must expand school choice. What do you make of that plan? Do you support it?
Well, look, I don't think getting rid of the Department of Education is the right way to go. I think that the amount of federal dollars that go to school is important. I think school choice I'm supportive of school choice. I'm also supportive of making sure public schools have the same rules and regulations that magnet schools do. I think we should be working with the Department of Education to figure out how to get an AI tutor to every student that needs it. The tools exist in order to do that right now. I was lucky to have parents and an older brother and sister that helped me with my homework. Imagine now we have something that's in everybody's pocket that teaches them how to fish rather than just giving them a fish. And that's something I think would be a valuable use of Department of Education, because ultimately in the United States of America, we have income inequality because we have education inequality, and we can fix that.
1 week from today is the first Republican primary debate. You still need to hit the polling threshold and the donor threshold to get on that stage. If you don't make the debate stage, is that a campaign ender for you, do you think?
Well, first off, I'm pretty confident we're going to be able to hit those requirements before the deadline on August 21st. I'm hoping folks help us out with that. We're still working towards those goals, but I feel pretty confident we're going to be able to pull that off. And once we do that, then we won't have to worry about the second part of the question.
All right, Republican presidential candidate Will Hurd, good to see you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.